Hi everybody, I'm Lorenzo Ippoliti from the investment team, and I'm here to quickly review what happened during this first part of 2023. Well, the good news is that markets are positive again after the horrible 2022 where all assets went down together and even the best portfolios lost money because everything went down in a correlated way. So markets are positive despite the fact that there was a lot of recession fears at the beginning of the year. But we are not seeing the economy falling into a recession, at least yet. So why were these recession fear in a way overestimated at the beginning of the year? Well, what we can say is that usually when central banks start to hike interest rate like they did, this slows down the economy and eventually pushes the economy into a recession. This is not happening yet because usually there's a lag between the time in which central banks start to hike interest rate and this having an effect on the economy. This lag seems to be quite long, probably because the families came out of the pandemic with a lot of savings accumulated. They did accumulate a lot of savings because they spent less, of course, but also they received some support from the governments. So these savings did help to sustain consumption in a way also when the interest rate went higher. So there was also another big thing that happened during this first part of the year, which was a banking crisis in the US and partially also in Europe. A few banks defaulted, and this came out of the blue in a way completely unexpected. What happened? These banks were asked by clients to withdraw deposit or to transfer deposit, and these banks had to sell some assets to do this. But these assets were mainly long-term government bonds, which had their prices pushed lower by higher interest rates during the last few months. So when they sold these assets, they made huge losses, which caused them to fail in a way, and their activity was stopped. So what was the effect of this banking crisis? The first effect for financial markets was that investors started to price much less interest rate hikes by central banks for the future. And why? This happened because since banks are having problems because their assets are pushed lower by the interest rate increases, so it's quite difficult that central banks will continue to increase rates, and then maybe they will have to save banks. So, and another thing is that these banks having problems now, they probably lend less to the economy, to individuals and to companies, and this will slow down the economy. So in a way, banks lending less, they will do part of the job of the central banks hiking rates to slow down the economy. So during the second part of the year, we will probably go through some economic slowdown. We are already seeing some data pointing to a slowdown. This is not a recession yet. It is just a slowdown of the economy, which could continue. On the brighter side of things, we have to say that inflation is coming down. I mean, this was the biggest worry of last year, but we're seeing, that especially goods and energy are seeing the inflation slowing down. Services, on the contrary, prices are still increasing a bit too much, but still we are in a process of disinflation, of inflation coming down, which is good. So all in all, we'll still go through some volatility, but we are not out of the wood, but still something is improving. As far as our advice, as always, is stay the course, invest for the long term, and don't look at short-term volatility. Thank you very much and speak soon.